Well, a recent confrontation between China and Japan now shining a new light on China's effort to become a superpower of the high seas. And it's causing new concern for the U.S. Navy. Adam Housley live at the Naval base in San Diego. Adam?
Yeah, Megan, also China and Taiwan just yesterday had a little bit of a run-in as well. You know, the United States, as the president here, as well as Congress, talks about cutting back on the military, there is a repositioning taking effect with the majority of forces coming here to the Pacific in response to China's military buildup. Today, they launched their first aircraft carrier. It's a carrier they bought from the Ukraine, which was a former Soviet carrier. It was officially dedicated today, and it's meant to increase China's presence in the region. And when you talk to experts on the Pacific region, they'll tell you that China is a force to be reckoned with.
China's defense budget has expanded around 12-13% for the last 20 years. It started from a fairly low base, but this has allowed China and the Chinese military to become one of the most significant and consequential military powers.
Now, this China military buildup not only concerns the United States, which has been a power in the Pacific since the Great White Fleet more than 100 years ago, but also many of our allies in the region like South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Australia, and even smaller allies like the Philippines and Vietnam, who've asked the U.S. to become even stronger allies and put some of our ships and troops in their areas. There are plans to put some of our ships even in Singapore. And when you talk to the military, it's all about making sure the American continues to be powerful in the Pacific.
80% of people live within about 100 miles of a coastline. Think about all the coastline that is involved with the Pacific Rim region. And 90% of world trade goes on the ocean. So this isn't just about military being there for adversarial relationships. It's about for stability of the way we're able to live in the world today.
And with a greater Chinese presence and other smaller nations with their own navies increasing, that means there's more chance for run-ins. And as you mentioned, Megan, there was one recently with Japan and just yesterday with Taiwan. The Chinese presence is something that's being noted very seriously throughout the Pacific Rim. Megan?
Adam Housley, thank you.
China is taking a huge step toward eventually challenging the U.S. for naval supremacy in the Pacific. Correspondent Adam Housley on what could be a military sea change.
Amid growing tensions in the Earth's largest ocean, China officially launched its first ever aircraft carrier. The refurbished former Soviet ship, now named the Liaoning, is meant to significantly boost China's combat capabilities and naval power around the Pacific.
China's defense budget has expanded around 12-13% for the last 20 years. It started from a fairly low base, but this has allowed China and the Chinese military to become one of the most significant and consequential military powers.
The Chinese addition comes as the United States plans deeper military cuts, even as 2,500 American military personnel will deploy to Australia to boost security in the Pacific region, and plans are in the works to base U.S. ships in Singapore.
The Pacific theater is incredibly important to U.S. interests. It always has been, and it always will be.
It's important not just militarily, it's important economically, it's important for the future of the world because so much is happening in the Pacific Rim region. And it behooves all of us to not just follow it, to be an active part of it.
An increased American part that focuses not only on protecting vital shipping lanes, but supporting Asian allies that are increasingly concerned with the Chinese military buildup and more aggressive actions around the region.
80% of people live within about 100 miles of a coastline. Think about all the coastline that is involved with the Pacific Rim region. And 90% of world trade goes on the ocean. So this isn't just about military being there for adversarial relationships. It's about for stability of the way we're able to live in the world today.
In recent weeks, U.S. military leaders have acknowledged the rebalancing of forces into the Pacific region, even calling it a military pivot with an increase in cooperation, not only with larger allies like Japan and Australia, but smaller countries like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Vietnam, also openly looking to expand military ties with the United States. Brett?
Adam, thank you.